Thank you. Mchabiseki, Shivambu.
Thank you, House Chair. The Economic Freedom Fighters stands here to commemorate, to celebrate, and to salute the life of the Commander-in-Chief of the Cuban Revolution, a revolutionary, the leader of the July 26 movement, and the de facto leader of the anti-colonial movement all over the world. Were it not for El Comandante Fidel Castro, the freedoms that have been attained in Angola, in Guinea-Bissau, in many other African countries, in Mozambique would have not happened. It was the sole role of the Cubans, under the capable leadership of El Comandante Fidel Castro, that the countries in the mostly Southern African component of our continent have realized their freedom. The Cubans did everything in their power. They surrendered their lives in order to realize the freedoms of the people in the African continent, but not only in the African continent. Cuba played a practical role, provided both ideological and military support in all the liberation movements that got to defeat colonialism. So we stand as the EFF to support and speak much more positively about El Comandante Fidel Castro. There are those who are giving a different narrative. The right-wingers will, of course, speak like that because they miss the colonial past. But we can talk today that Cuba's unemployment officially stands at less than 3%. And more than 99% of Cubans are literate, meaning that they are able to read and write. Life expectancy is close to 8 years for all the Cuban people. Infant mortality is less than 15 people per 1,000 deaths in Cuba. The health system is the most efficient, is the most responsive in Cuba. It trains thousands of doctors, not only for the people of Cuba only, but for the entire world. There's 23 medical schools in Cuba, and there's a ratio of 1 doctor per 155 people. A dream that is mostly associated with the so-called developed nations. Cuba has got a GDP ratio which is far much lesser in terms of per capita as compared to many countries that have got such developmental indicators. But Cuba is the most developed nation in terms of the impact on human life. And because that is a socialist victory and a socialist achievement, that is what we want to be in South Africa. We want to be like Cuba and South Africa. We unashamedly want to pursue a progressive socialist agenda that will bring about free education for all. And we want to caution the people of Cuba that the flirtations of the Americans must not fool you into believing that they are going to ever be your friends. The Americans will never be the friends of Cuba. They are always opposed to progressive change. That is why we stand tall here in South African Parliament to say that the Cuban flag must fly forever. The Cuban flag must never be undermined with the passing away of Comandante Fidel Castro. The people of Cuba must continue to fight for their freedoms. They must continue to support the underdeveloped nations of the world. They must stand in solidarity, not through messages of support, through practical support of the colonized world that are still experiencing neocolonialism. We will fight together with the people of Cuba because as part of that commemoration, the EFF was launched on the 26th of July in commemoration of the 26th July movement that is happening, what is led by El Comandante Fidel Castro. We say salute to El Comandante Fidel Castro. Thank you very much.